Hi everyone, Stepan here. It's Thursday, so welcome to another Thursday endgame video. This week we are going to go over endgames with the bishops of the same color, which are much more simple than what we did for the last 3 weeks, bishops of opposite color, and there are far less rules you have to remember. There are only 3 key patterns you have to remember and 3 thematic positions you have to remember and learn by heart if you want to play them well in tournament games. So first of all, let's mention that if the situation on the board is more complicated, you still have to be wary of the 3 positions we are going to look at, and they will allow you to know whether the position is a draw or a win for the side with the extra pawn. Let me just mention that if the material is equal, these endgames are drawn basically, unless there are some tricks in the position. Still, even if black had a pawn here, you still need to use the knowledge about the 3 positions we are going to look at. There are basically 3 scenarios that could happen if you're a pawn down in an endgame with bishops of the same color, and that's A, your king is perfect, B, your king is okay, C, your king is horrible and you lose. In scenario A, it's an easy draw. So this position we really don't have to talk about. If the defending king is in front of the pawn on a blockading square, meaning a square it cannot be dislodged from, in this case both players have light squared bishops, therefore there is no way to get the king away from a dark square, it's an easy draw. So if you're a pawn down and you have bishops of the same color, get your king in front of the pawn, and it could be any dark square. If the pawn was on d2, you could get to d4, d6 or d8, doesn't matter, it's a draw as long as you don't move your king away and lose on purpose. So this is easy. So if you have time, regardless of what your opponent does, get in front of the pawn on the same file and easy draw. Okay, now the second position is complicated, but if you know what to do, then it's an easy win. So this is a case where the defending king is just bad and it's far away from play. Obviously, you are going to queen your pawn, but there is one problem. If you try to queen your pawn now, if you played d6 and black plays something and you played d7, black would take the pawn and it's going to be a draw, because bishop and king versus king is a draw. But there is a winning technique, and still I've seen people mess this up, especially in blitz games, but it's actually an easy technique. So what you want to do is get your bishop to a square from which the defending bishop is going to have to A, trade the bishops off and allow you to promote your pawn, or B, lose the bishop. So that's what you're trying to do. So in this position you can start with d6. There are other winning moves. Basically everything is winning here as long as you don't allow the black king to get here. And now let's say bishop to e8, he just waits. Of course, if you push the pawn, he's going to take it. So bishop to d7, you offer a trade, and it's not over yet. Of course, if black trades, then it is over. So here this would just be an easy win. So after bishop to d7, black tries to hold you off. So he plays, for example, bishop to g6. And now what you want to do is you want to get to a square from which there will be no return. Once you get here, and the bishop is on this diagonal because it will have to be on this diagonal, or the bishop is on this diagonal and you get here, then yeah, you're going to have to draw. You're going to have to win. So bishop to c6. And the idea is not to push the pawn forward because black can defend with bishop f5. The idea is to go bishop b7, and now it's very hard to play black. If you move the bishop away from this diagonal, then the pawn moves forward, d7, d8 equals queen, white wins. If you don't move the bishop from the diagonal, then you lose anyway, because I'm going to play bishop to c8. So, for example, king to f7, bishop c8. And now what do you do? If you get away from the diagonal, again, d7, winning. If you take the bishop, again, d7, d8, winning. So in positions where the defending king is far away, what you want to do is offer a bishop trade that cannot be refused. In other words, you want to offer a bishop trade that, if declined, is going to result in the loss of the bishop. So again, bishop to d7 in this position, bishop to g6, he declines, bishop to c6, yeah, and now bishop f5, stopping d7, but bishop to b7 and bishop to c8 is an easy win. So these are the first two positions. One of them is an easy draw, the other one is an easy win. Don't mess up the easy win. And if you have the easy draw, just move your bishop back and forth and it's a draw. Now we are going to look at a harder position. Here is an example of how black can draw. This king is in between. His king is okay. And black can draw. Why? Because white is unable to set up a position in which he can force a bishop trade. Now there are two ideas. Again, the bishop either wants to come to c6, to d6 or to d8 to trade itself off. Of course, if you could play bishop to c8 now, then yeah. But black's king prevents the bishop from coming to d6, and the black king also prevents the bishop from coming to d8. Even if you could play bishop to d8 now, let's say your bishop is on d8, black takes, and king takes pawn. So the black king is perfectly placed to stop both threats. One threat, as you said, is bishop to d6. The other threat is bishop to d8. If bishop to d8, black can safely stay on the diagonal because he can then take on d8, and after king takes, the black king takes the e6 pawn. And if the black bishop is controlling the d6 square, and white tries to challenge it, offer a bishop trade that would help promote the pawn, then the bishop just takes, because the king is defending as well. Now let's see that in practice. So let's say bishop h4. Of course, black has to be stopping e7. Therefore, also bishop f6 would work. Okay, bishop to e7, offering a bishop trade. Of course, if black accepts, then again, easily winning. So let's just look at that. So bishop e7, king e7, and easy win. So bishop to e1, declining the trade. And now white tries. So he plays bishop f8. The idea is he is waiting for black to commit himself somewhere, of course threatening the move e7. Therefore, black is forced to play bishop h4. And now bishop to e7, again a bit of repetition, bishop to e1, and now let's try something new, bishop to g5. There are two ideas. Bishop g5 is one of them, aiming to get to the d6 square. The other idea would be to play bishop to d6 and try to get to d8. We are going to look at both. So after bishop to g5, black has to stop e7, so there is only one move in the position, and that's bishop to b4. And now white tries to get to c6, so bishop f4. Again, black has to stay on this diagonal, otherwise e7 equals queen. And now in this position, black just waits, so either bishop a3 or bishop c5, doesn't matter. And let's say bishop to a3. And now the idea is you don't have e7 because I'm defending it. If you try to get to g5 and then play e7, I'm just going to take it. So again, if I manage to sacrifice my bishop for the pawn, it's a draw. And most importantly, the winning maneuver that would usually work, bishop to c6, if the king was, for example, on h8, now doesn't work because on bishop c6, black just takes a free bishop and then takes the pawn, and it's a draw. And the other way for white to try and win is to try to get to the d8 square. So, for example, bishop to d6, bishop to h4, you have to stop e7, bishop to c7, black has to stay on this diagonal, so he waits, so let's say bishop to g5, and now if you play bishop to d8, well, the bishop trade is forced. If you move the bishop, you lose, but the king is attacking e6, so bishop takes, king takes, easy draw. So these three positions, you absolutely have to know if you want to play tournament games well. And the fun thing about bishops of the same color is that the endgames with bishops of the same color is that they really can be reduced to only three cases. And it's just know these three positions and draw. I just realized that the camera is in the corner here. I'm sorry for that. I switched to my old laptop. I'm not using Lucia's today, so my old laptop is bad, and also I haven't recorded on it for a while. So anyway, the three positions you have to know. Regardless of how many more pieces or pawns are on the board in the endgame, you have to be wary of that there are three king positions for the defender which are going to decide the outcome of the game. Again, if the material is equal, probably a draw. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. Hope it was... I mean, I was really happy that it was this simple when I started studying it, and yeah, I'm happy. Now, whenever I play a tournament game with bishops like this, I'll be able to tell if I win, lose, or draw instantly. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comment below, and stay tuned for more chess. Bye-bye.